Last week, we had a series of very strong tornadoes roll through our town and all of the nearby towns and do a lot of damage. How did this affect us, and what are my thoughts on it? Well, stay tuned for more. And welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is tornadoes. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who's supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's M-U-R-D-Y. And I just want to mention at the top of the show that it's not too late to start looking for your Father's Day gifts. In fact, it's not too early either. Father's Day is coming up soon, and I don't want you guys to get caught in the dust. So obviously, be sure to check out our website for great ideas for Father's Day gifts. So, last week, Thursday, we had a very large series of tornadoes run through the surrounding area. The entire Midwest was hit with these storms, and obviously we're not the only people affected. There was a lot. At kind of the peak of it on Thursday, there were 65,000 people without power. We were one of them. And it was interesting. I had been home at the time when it started, and it started like every other rainstorm, and springtime in Wisconsin, you get these storms every so often. You'll have a series of nice days in a row, and all of a sudden you'll get a really hot day. Hot days are always bad, because hot days almost always mean there's a lot of storm in the air. And like always, it starts off hot, and then suddenly the temperature drops rapidly, and you can feel it. And the storm came on very much like every other thunderstorm does. And in great Midwestern tradition, we heard that there was tornado warnings and tornado watches, and so we went outside to watch. Now, we weren't outside for very long. We came back inside pretty quickly, but the storm turned from just wind to rain and then hail, marble-sized hail, thankfully. I'd been a little nervous about the hail because my sister-in-law and her husband had recently, within the last month or two, I think, had baseball-sized hail that totaled both of their cars, so I was being really anxious about that. And Leah was at the house with her sister and her friend who were getting their hair done. Leah's a hairdresser by trade, but she does it for family and friends now mostly. And they had come up, and so, we were all just kind of sitting around the table, and it was just a casual day, right? It was just a normal day. Kids were worried, but not too bad. The storm all of a sudden went from, this is raining and like hailing to, this is raining really hard and hailing really hard. I was watching out the window, and the wind had picked up severely. We had lots of our trees were bending quite significantly. And then I saw what looks like a wall of fog go from the far end of the property, and it just came as a whole wall rapidly towards the house. And it hit the house with this big whoosh. And as the wall had approached, I yelled for everyone to get in the basement. And obviously everyone stopped watching and ran into the basement quite quickly. And we were down there for quite some time. And all the while, our phones were going off with the tornado warnings. And I have a good group of friends of mine that are my guys. And all in that chat, we were all talking about where the storms were, what was the severity, who was all involved, who was impacted, and what was going on. And so I was getting updates there, and obviously the internet. But I come back out after it had let up, and I had been surprised by the amount of devastation. There was downed power lines. The trailer that I used to move wood had been picked up and flipped over and moved about 20 or 30 feet from where it originally started. And that thing's heavy, thousands of pounds probably. A tree had fallen down and knocked down the garden fence and had landed in the garden, big tree. And the little forest on our property had a good portion of their trees fall over. 3 of the trees that had been dead for a long time on the property that I kept thinking to myself, I should get those taken down. All 3 of them came down. Thankfully, nothing got hit. So the good news is that we, in the house, didn't get hit with anything. The garage is in pretty good shape. There was some minor siding damage, but nothing big. And it was mostly just property damage, and it wasn't anything important. Apple trees are all still there and everything, so that was good. But it took me a while to stare at it, because across the neighbor's house had a big maple tree in their front yard, and it was just totaled. It had just been split in half. Huge maple tree just split in half. And the barn behind his house had been just destroyed. There's holes in it. And we were obviously very thankful. We lost power early in the storm. And a couple of years back, Lee and I had a solar system and battery backup system installed, specifically because when the guy was asking, well, why are you doing this, right? Are you doing it for the green movement, or are you doing it? I said, no. I said, if we lose power, we're out in the middle of nowhere. We're not going to get power back on for a while. And so they had structured the way that our system was set up specifically so that it would cover the main systems, the house. Although it didn't cover the water pump, and we're going to get that fixed soon because, well, that was important, quick. So for the most part, we had power in some of the critical parts of our house, and that system worked great. But it was destruction, and nobody in town had power. Now, the good news is that we actually didn't get the worst of it. Horicon is situated in the middle of two other towns, Juneau and Mayville. And Juneau and Mayville got hit really hard. Big, serious damage, walls removed from buildings, things like that. And I was riding the next morning, and I saw on the way to Mayville, there was two houses across the street from each other with a barn in between. And the roof had been just lifted off, both of them. Big tree branches had just gone right through the house. A big trailer that you would use to pull behind a vehicle, that would hold instruments or things like that if you were moving that kind of stuff, had just been picked up and thrown and tumbled in the field for 100 feet, 200 feet. It was a lot of destruction. And it happened so quick. And I just, for a long time, I think there's still a little part of me that just doesn't really believe it. And we lost power. And so Thursday night, I'm chatting with the team, and everyone's safe, and that's good, and that's important. But the question was, are we going to have power in the morning? Because if we don't have power in the morning, there's a lot of stuff here that needs power. And so we decided that if there wasn't power in the morning, we were just going to have the day off. And I was going to take the day off anyway to try to clean up the house a little bit and get some of the stuff that was hanging and teetering and about to fall down taken care of, cut those down. And the whole town was out of power. You couldn't buy gas. You couldn't buy water. Now, thankfully, the electric crews worked through the night, and bless them. One of them was actually across the street from us where the down power line was. They were working through the night. By about 3 o'clock in the morning, they'd gotten the power back on for us. That was good. And it was an interesting kind of situation because it really did put into perspective just how fragile a lot of the things we take for granted are. Communication during the peak of the stuff was limited. There was no power, so everyone's Wi-Fi was out. So it was cell towers, and there was a lot of traffic trying to go over very small cell towers, so everything was taking forever to upload. It just got me thinking about how the place that we live is a very real blessing in that it's quiet, it's peaceful, not a lot of traffic, not a lot of people. But in a situation where the internet didn't do what it does, I don't know if this company would really be able to survive the way it does, because we don't have any retail location, right? And it got me thinking about broader disasters, longer term disasters, things like that. And all in all, I'm glad this wasn't that bad for us. There were a lot of people who it was pretty bad for. And I think the local mayor and the mayors of the other town did a great job, and the sheriff, and everybody did a great job communicating with the public about what was going on and where the serious problems were. And I'm glad it wasn't worse. Thankfully, this building didn't sustain any damage. Although this building was built in 1967, and it's all cinder block. The internal walls are cinder block. It's got this enormous steel roof on it. And the roof in front, in the part of the building that we're in, is spancrete. It's concrete. So this building was clearly designed to survive a nuclear blast or something, because it is robust. But that doesn't help the power problem. So it's just got a lot of cleanup. It's just going to be a lot of cleanup for a long time. This is going to take me a lot of, we have probably 10 or 15 downed trees on the property that need to get taken care of. And it's a lot to think about. I'm just glad nothing worse happened. I'm glad that we're all safe now. I'm glad that the things, I've kind of always been, we live right on the south side of the marsh. Now, the Horicon Marsh is huge. It's enormous. If you actually go to the marsh, which is between Horicon and Mayville, and you stand at, there's a place you can go and It's a visitor center. So if you go stand there and you look out, it's as far as the eye can see. It looks like the Great Lakes. It's as far as the eye can see in that direction. There's the marsh stretches out ahead of you. And kind of always believed that the marsh provided us with some protection from the worst of the storms, because the water and the marshlands absorb quite a bit of energy themselves during storms and things like that. But I don't know if that's the case anymore. At least I don't believe that anymore. So I don't really know how this affects my business. I mean, it doesn't. I think when we think about a lot of these things, it reminds me I need to review our business insurance and see, what our coverage looks like. But there are a lot of things in the business world that we take for granted. A lot of things as a small business, especially, that you just kind of, there's a lot of difficult things you have to deal with on the daily basis. So you try to limit those things that you think about, right? If you tried to really contemplate all of the various risk factors that affect your business, it would just cripple you, right? So there's a lot of things that you take for granted. I take for granted that Meryl and Anna are going to show up tomorrow, right? I take for granted that the lights are going to come on, the power's going to be there. Our shipping, the people who ship leather from our Milwaukee to here are going to be able to get through. The roads are going to be in good conditions. There's a lot of things like that we take for granted. In a lot of places in the world, that's not the case. And I am very grateful for the efforts that have been put into developing stable, powerful, useful infrastructure that makes it so this is not something I worry about frequently. But anyway, we've been doing a pretty good job staying caught up despite all this. We're trying our best. There's nothing that really should get in the way of us staying caught up, so it shouldn't affect anything as far as customer orders go. I appreciate all of those who have been, we have had some people who've offered to help and whatnot. Appreciate all that. That's good. At the moment, there's not much to do. I got to pick up sticks, lots of sticks, but that's okay. It's good exercise. And hey, I was going to have to pay to take those trees down anyway, so don't have to pay to take them down now. This week's limited edition is going to be camo, by the way. Exactly what type of camo, I'm not 100% sure if there's a name for it. We're still researching that, but it's camo, and it's pretty cool. So for those of you looking for Father's Day gifts, I'm looking at you. But anyway, I want to hear about you. I want to hear from you. Have you dealt with anything like this? Was there a story that you got about your own natural disasters? What do you think we should do if we have to deal with this in the future and we actually do lose power for long periods of time? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get notified when we launch new episodes. If you want to get a hold of us, reach out to us on the main page of our website at murdycreative.co. That's MURDY creative.co. You can send us an email directly at sales@murdycreative.co, sales@murdycreative.co, or you can give us a phone call, 414-434-9001. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time is our current summer hours. If for whatever reason you don't get a hold of us during those hours, please obviously feel free to leave us a voicemail. We do call people back. You can also text us at the number, and we respond at 414-434-9001. We're happy to help. If you want to leave us a good review, go to murdycreative.co/review, and it'll take you right now to Google where you can leave your good review. We obviously move around kind of where those reviews go to, specifically to try to optimize for one thing or another. We were optimizing on Facebook before, and now we're optimizing on Google. So those reviews do help us, and that's where you can go to do that. And you can also read the reviews there. You can go to murdycreative.co/reviews with an S to read all of our aggregated reviews and to find all the links to the different places to leave reviews. If you're going to leave us a bad review, please, before you do so, give us an opportunity to make things right. It is deeply important to me personally that everybody has a good experience with the company and with the product. So if for whatever reason you have a bad experience, please, before you leave us a bad review, give me an opportunity to make things right. I really want that to be the case. I want you to be happy. We have free domestic returns. We'll give you a label. You send it back to us. We will refund you the money. We want you to be happy. It's truly, truly important to me. So please, before you leave us a bad review, give us an opportunity to make things right. If you're looking for custom engraved items for Dad and you want to get that special engraving for Dad for his Father's Day, or any other things you wanted to get, that we have no minimum order quantities, and no setup fees. Whew. So you can just get one thing with that custom engraving on it. If you want to do that, you can go to any of the product pages and you click with the blue button. There's a blue Add Custom Logo Engraving button. If you click that, it'll launch the customizer for that product. Not everything is in the customizer yet. We're still working on that. So if you see something that is a product that doesn't have that blue button and you want to get it customized, send us an email with an image that you want to get add on it, as well as the product name and what color you're looking for. We can create a custom mock-up for you, as well as an order link to purchase that item for you. So we can do it. It's just a little more manual. Otherwise, if you want to use the customizer, you launch that customizer. You can add logos. You can add text, a variety of texts. You can resize, rotate, reposition, all that other stuff, and then you hit add to cart. The cost ranges. It starts at like $15 or $10, and it goes up from there depending on how large or complicated the engraving is, I believe. And if you can get multiple items like that too, so if you're wanting to get something for your team or your corporate team, you can add one to your cart, and you can change the cart quantity there, and that is a good way to get a whole bunch of things. Bulk discounts start at a quantity of 5, and you can mix and match to your heart's desire, so it's not just one thing. And you can be able to do that across all of our product lines. There are a few exceptions, things like the Parker Jotter pen, the refill inserts, the add name engraving line item. Those aren't additional things. They're part of the same thing. So those aren't things we make, so those don't count, but virtually everything else does. If you have any questions about that program, we are happy to help and walk you through it. All right, I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Goodbye.